get started. So thanks everyone for joining the webinar today to discuss self-service advertising within the media industry. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Samantha Giaver. I'm the head of sales in the US at ADvendio, and I'm joined by Robert Varga, who's head of sales for EMEA and APAC. So nice to have you all here. Thanks for joining. During the time that we have today, we're going to talk about how ADvendio sees self-service within the media industry, how our customers are using the self-serve portal, and then what we see as the future for self-service. So just quickly, before we get into the content, for anyone who's joining an ADvendio webinar for the first time, first of all, welcome, great to have you here. And just want to mention some quick housekeeping rules before we get started. So everyone who joins is on mute. We can't hear you, but please use the chat box in the corner of your screen to ask any questions. We'll keep an eye on it during the webinar, and we can answer all questions at the end of the webinar. Also, an ADvendio rep will probably reach out after the webinar with the recorded session as well. So of course, if you have any questions after the webinar is over, please feel free to talk directly with the ADvendio rep, and we'll make sure that we get all of your questions answered. So I think with that being said, we are ready to get started. So Rob, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you who haven't don't know ADvendio, let me just give you a quick brief of where we came from, and we'll talk about where we're heading. But our company started around 17 years ago, and we were a Salesforce implementation company. We started implementing Salesforce for media companies like TV stations in Germany and publishers in Germany, and then suddenly it became very international. And we always saw the same issues. Salesforce couldn't cater for media-specific workflows, couldn't manage inventory. So we always had to customize Salesforce and build custom-built solutions on top of it. And 11 years ago, we just made a product out of it. We made a product that is being maintained by us and works for the media industry. In the beginning, we were focusing more on publishers, so they would have a connection to Google Ads server, and then obviously to flat planning tools and print, etc. But then with time, we evolved. We started catering for out of home. We started catering for events. We started catering for programmatic. So today we are covering all media types. And our customer base has also grown very heavily. We have 150 plus customers on all 5 continents, and definitely more than 25 countries. And the product is continuously evolving, and due to the pandemic, we have seen a massive rise in use of self-service portals, and also the digital transformation of a lot of the media houses has accelerated. Plus, in addition, more than 50% now of our customers are customers that are in e-commerce space, that are retailers, that are monetizing their media spaces that they are just realizing that they have. So property websites, car websites. So those are our growing customer base, but our publisher base is very rock solid and still growing. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, so that was a perfect overview of ADvendio, and I think it's interesting to mention as well, like you said, you really saw that self-service was kind of blowing up during the start of the pandemic, but at ADvendio, I think we even started like 2 or 3 years before that to actually develop the self-service portal. So the good thing is it's a new-ish product, I guess, in comparison to ADvendio as a whole, but it's been around now for a couple years, and we've got quite a few customers using it, which is pretty cool. So just quickly here on this next slide, we have just the vision of ADvendio. So really, like, our overall goal is to be able to bring teams together to both buy and sell advertising on one platform. So the idea is that the internal teams, as well as now with the self-service portal, external advertisers and agencies are all connected via ADvendio to make for a totally seamless experience on all sides, all within the Salesforce platform. So I think now we can talk a little bit more about just self-service overall within the media industry. So Rob, like you mentioned, you've seen like kind of an explosion of the self-service portal in the past year or so. I've seen the same, but I think it's definitely something newer. I mean, when I started with ADvendio back in 2016, I really like didn't ever hear prospects asking about a self-service portal as like part of their projects, where now it's like super common. So yeah, in the past 2 years, I would say like everybody is talking about eventually moving towards that direction. So as you
Yeah.
can see here on the slides, we've got 87% of B2B buyers are looking for a self-service option during the ad purchasing experience, and 89% of decision makers agree that a self-service platform will help their companies grow in the upcoming year. And I definitely, based on the conversations that I've had in the past couple of years, can definitely agree with those numbers. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. Those numbers are very valid. And on the next bullet points, McKinsey, indicated that 86% of customers would be preferring to do their booking on a self-service portal, and also 90% agreed that because of the pandemic, sales meetings happen virtually. And since you have to log into that computer, you have to interrogate and play with technology, the more likely it is that those interactions then become transferred into a self-service portal. And many of our customers see the future that a salesperson would be training their customers on self-service portals, monitoring their flows coming in of what kind of bookings they do. Do they get stuck in some bookings where they give a courtesy call and say, "Hi, you couldn't book that. Is there an issue? Is there something you don't like?" And making sure that the pricing is right there and that there's sufficient transparency on the self-service portals for customers to be engaged and keep booking. And also this enables many of our customers to expand their customer base for ad sales that are maybe not as profitable, smaller volume ad sales. So yes, definitely we see that trend. There's a lot of opportunities in there. There's a lot of efficiency savings in there. And yeah, let's go on. Next slide.
Oh, you could have kept going. I guess I was just getting ahead of myself.
That's fine. That's fine. I think I said what I needed to say.
Perfect. Well, I mean, I think you're going in the right direction anyway, because now we wanted to talk a little bit more about, the self-service solution as it sits in ADvendio and how our customers are using it today. So perfect segue into that. So first, the overview of the self-service and the challenges that we found and, why we created the self-service platform in ADvendio. So these are like the typical challenges that we've been hearing from our clients looking to onboard a self-service platform. So first of all, they want to eliminate time-consuming manual processes. They want to be able to increase their revenue and operations. They want to be able to manage the time spent communicating directly with customers in a more formalized way. So like via the self-service portal where everything is kind of logged and able to be managed. Also handling low revenue deals in an automated fashion and giving clients access to campaign reporting and invoicing. These are kind of the major challenges that we've seen. And I think overall, the one that we see the most for sure is being able to manage all of those, high transactions that have a low volume. So any advertisers that maybe book, 1 or 2 campaigns a year and, they're small advertisers and it doesn't make sense to have a direct salesperson working specifically on those deals. Now they're able to manage those through the self-service portal, so they're still getting in that revenue in that high volume, but then they don't have to take away the direct sales who are working on bigger deals to handle those small deals. So that's definitely something that's been really helpful and really interesting for our clients.
Exactly. It's easier to onboard a sometimes booking customer once than having engaged with a sometimes booking customer once a month and get 500 euros booked. It's probably not the best use of resources, and therefore yes, we see an increased engagement with customers that are not booking so often.
And you know what? I think the customers like it as well, because that way they're able to kind of take their time. They don't feel rushed that like, okay, someone's just telling me to book this advertising when really like now they can look through the catalog, they can decide what they want to order, and they do it on their own time. So I think it's a benefit for sure on both sides.
And they see real-time inventories. They can really see if it's available, not available. They have full access and full transparency of what they are booking. Of course, given that the publisher wants to enable them. But yes, it empowers the customer, and the customers really like it.
Yeah, exactly. And now here on the screen we have, first talking about the challenges, and now talking about some of the specifics within the platform. So some of the major highlights of the self-service portal is, first of all, it's really scalable. It allows you to reduce your overhead now that some campaigns are self-serving with no direct sales involved, like we were talking about. It's still backed by the Salesforce platform, so that way you still have access to the same user profiles and permissions that you have with your internal Salesforce. And the same goes for any automation and workflows. So Salesforce admins really like that because, it's a different product and it's a different way to sell your inventory, but on the back end, everything is still functioning and set up the same way that they know and that they're used to. So there's nothing new that needs to be really learned on the back end there. Most importantly, it allows for a single source of truth, as all campaigns are still running through ADvendio. So no matter if they're direct sales or self-serve, everything still kind of funnels into the same place for ad ops to take over and actually run the campaigns. It's a fully holistic process, end to end. And then lastly, like we mentioned just quickly before, you can really empower your clients. So you're able to, your clients feel like they have control over the campaigns that they're trying to book. They can take their time with it. They can, review things and then really feel like they're making the best decision for, themselves as an advertiser.
And again, customers can be categorized differently. There are customers that are highly efficient customers, marketing teams sitting at Unilever or the different brands who understand CPM, etc., and you will give them more access to different functionalities, targeting informations, etc. And there are customers that you want to enable just a interview style workflow where the system will ask, hey, what would you like to do today? How much money do you have? Who do you want to advertise to? Click on this map. Which region do you want to advertise, etc. And at the end of the process, they can pay by credit card, or they will just get an automated email with the invoice that they have to pay for it. It's so the self-service portal is so beautiful that you can create different profiles for different type of users.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point to bring up as well, because with the self-service portal, it's never going to be like one size fits all, right? So you might have some customers who maybe they even are huge advertisers where they're still doing direct sales and they have a salesperson that they're working with, but maybe they want access to view their invoices or even just check availability of things or see campaign reporting. Like they're able to use the self-service portal for those particular aspects, whereas maybe agencies or smaller advertisers would go in and actually book the campaign. So there's really a lot of ways that you can take this portal and kind of use it to the best advantage of your clients, no matter where they are, if they're big or small, to really just maximize the the experience for them too.
Absolutely. And actually, we have a couple of customers that do a slow approach and transferring customers into self-service portal, where they just enable them to see their invoices, and they log into self-service store, they see their invoices, or maybe the campaign delivery data, a nice report of how the campaigns went and what their results are of that. And then step by step enabling more functionalities, and then the salesperson calls up, hey, by the way, you can also book your campaigns now. You have seen everything about the campaigns, but you haven't booked yourself. So let's try that. There's different methodologies of how you can roll it out to customers, and always check and get feedback. What's the adoption rate, and then make adjustments to it. And all those adjustments are real time, and there's no programming behind it. It's really point and click. Now getting to the next point is that there's a beautiful use case that we have done, and we have a customer called Crossplan. Crossplan is owned by different radio stations, and those different radio stations have different inventory, and their job was to be attractive to brands and advertisers to sell to multiple radio stations, but the point of buying would be from cross-plan. And what they had a very aggressive target of growing the business 300% a year. They didn't have the internal resources to hire enough salespeople. So what they used ADvendio for is, first of all, have an inventory management system which is connected to all the different radio ad servers that the radio stations use, and typically it's an AdSwiss ad server. So then they had an aggregate overview of all the inventory available for all radio stations, from which they could create packages, from which they could sell directly to the customer. And as the next step, as part of their growth plan, they enabled hundreds and hundreds of self-service portals where customers can browse inventory from different radio stations, and they don't even have to know which radio station is if they don't want to buy packages from there, have real-time inventory check, and that's how we enable them to grow. It's kind of a mini marketplace that they have created and enabled their salespeople to sell directly from multiple channels, and most importantly, their customers, and especially a lot of loyal customers. Local radio stations, they might have a plumber who wants to advertise, but then they might have Coca-Cola who wants to advertise on all radio stations. So that's what we have achieved there. Our time plan, our time scale, our time to implement this was very aggressive. So we had it done within months, and yeah, it was a very, very, very successful implementation and use case that we had in Germany. I would like to also mention that yes, we are a German headquartered company, but probably around 5% of our customers are actually Germany based. We are a very, very global company. So this is just a very nice use case which happens to be in Germany. Next slide, please, Samantha.
Well, it's a pretty cool use case as well, because it's kind of like not only the self-service portal, but it's like taking that marketplace approach, which I think we'll discuss later. But yeah, very cool.
Excellent. And then just giving you a brief overview of how our self-service looks like when it's not super customized. But this would be a generic view of that. So you would have, click here to book a campaign, see your invoices, see your reporting, briefings, campaign calendars, etc. This can be customized, and obviously it can be integrated in your website. Now the key thing here is that
in a lot of different ways, right? Like you can customize, what are the functionalities that they're doing? So are they just looking at invoices and reporting, or do they see all of this, or are they only booking campaigns? And then, yeah, like you said, like it can be customized in the way as it just looks like an extension of your website, or it can have a totally different look. But there's almost endless opportunities, I would say, in like the ways that you can customize it, don't you think?
Absolutely. And again, the beauty of it is that when you customize it, it's not coding, it's point and click. ADvendio is based on the Salesforce platform, and the self-service portal is based on the digital extension platform. And you log into your admin portal, and from your admin portal, you literally decide from the professional internal users which functionalities do you want to expose into the self-service portal. And then those functionalities, on top of that, you can create a interview style model where the functionalities turn into questions and answers. But the key thing is here, it's really point and click. And what we have seen with many customers is that it's an evolution for them rather than a revolution, giving out self-service portal. They will make a market research of their customers of how many would be wanting to book on a self-service portal. And then when they start rolling it out, then they can see reports that maybe the customer is not getting to the end of the booking. Why is that happening? So you have constant reports there. You can create a task for your call center to give courtesy calls to the customers that haven't finished their booking, to find out more why they have. So I think the key here is that whenever you are implementing a self-service portal, it's probably not going to be the right one at the first try, but it's going to be a constant evolution where every 2-3 weeks you change here and there a little bit the workflow to accommodate the customer type that you are aiming for. And you probably will have different profiles and different type of customers that want different level of functionalities. And again, the beauty is that you can take almost any functionality from the professional ADvendio login that your salespeople and your AdOps people are using and expose it here. The question is, do you want that? You want that transparency to those customers, and do they want those functionalities? And that's a business question that you have to ask. But the technology of ADvendio will not limit you in taking those decisions.
Yeah, and it might even be like in different phases. So maybe in the beginning, for the first couple of years, like self-service to you means one thing, and then it starts to evolve, and then from there you can add in those additional capabilities to, you know, continue to expand it, you know, with your business. So the idea is that, you know, the portal will scale up with you and you know, work with you at the time with your specific needs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we had customers in Asia that said, well, we have 20,000 customers who book with us. We want to give all of them a self-service portal. But then as soon as they make their internal market research, they all kind of decide for the evolution approach, where their target is to have 10,000 or 20,000 self-service portals, but start with different types of users and fine tune it. And again, the beauty is when you fine tune, it's not a project. You don't have to be a scientist in order to do it. You just have to have very simple admin knowledge in order to rearrange the screen to make it work for your customers. Samantha, is there anything else you want to add on to that? I mean, we are not showing you here the system, but if you are interested, typically what we do is that we get the use case from the customer. It takes us an hour or two to configure it, to make it look how the customer wants it, and then we would demo it to the customer or to the prospect. So if any of you are more interested in finding out about the self-service portal that would fit your use case, then yeah, just please let us know. Email me, email Samantha, and I'll be happy to prepare a demo. It won't take more than 30 minutes to 60 minutes, maybe 60 minutes, but yeah, it's a pretty awesome tool.
Yeah,
Sam, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely let us know. We have a couple of self-service videos on our website that go through like a general flow of booking a campaign, but we've really come to find that, you know, everybody's kind of looking for something a little bit different. So I think that's where like the custom demo is helpful. If we can get a couple of use cases, we can definitely tweak around the self-service portal to make it, you know, make sense for what you're looking for your business. So definitely reach out to us after the webinar if that's something that you're interested in, and for sure, you know, we'll be happy to take the time and walk you through, you know, what it could look like for your use cases.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So I think from here, yeah, future of self-service. So, you know, we've been developing the self-service portal for the past couple of years. And now, you know, from an ADvendio perspective, if we're looking to the future of self-service, we've really seen a need in the market for like a marketplace type platform that's able to be used for both selling and buying, to be able to connect brands and publishers and kind of like an Amazon style marketplace, almost similar to the cross-plan, you know, use case where they're kind of aggregating all of that inventory from different radio stations. We're actually launching a product this month that kind of mirrors that. So to be able to see inventory from multiple different publishers, to be able to buy all of that inventory on one platform, and to be able to sell all of that inventory on one platform as well. So this is, you know, totally new concept and new product for us, but you know, we're super excited about it to, you know, have it launched this month with a couple of key customers to, you know, kind of start the go live and testing phase. So yeah, super excited to see how the product will work in practice. And I think, Rob, you've, you know, got some comments on it as well. So would love to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So this came as a demand from our customers. So we have different regions where we are very strong, and the publishers and the ad owners that compete with each other, at the same time they want to stay very attractive to the big brands like Coca-Cola, Unilever, and they want to keep them engaged. So for them, just alone giving a self-service portal to the customer is not enough. They want to be able to give a self-service portal where they say, hey, you can see now a lot of inventory here from the Netherlands or from Scandinavia or from South Africa or from the US, and including mine. And you know, I hope still to prove you that mine is the best, and you know, etc. There is there is a slight competition there, but the aim was never the competition from the customers. The aim was for staying attractive, staying big in a sense. If I can't merge with other publishers or ad owners, then maybe I can merge on the selling front. I can merge my inventory and get the customers logging into my self-service portal, which is not just me, but a couple of the guys that I might be competing with, or a couple of the guys that might be extending. Also, what's important to know on the self-service the marketplace is that our aim is, yes, we have 150 plus customers. If they want to expose their inventory, they're great. If they don't want to, they don't have to. It's always their choice. If there's other customers who want to expose it, we're happy to talk to them. But we see a consolidation in inventory rather than companies. I think the consolidation with companies and merging together is still happening, but it's probably too slow. The market demands a faster rate of consolidation for browsing inventory, especially the agencies. The agencies, they just want to have a central place where they can book awful lot for their customers. So it's really for professional users. Samantha, I don't know what else you would like to add to this. It is a really exciting product. We have been in the dark working on it, yes, we literally just launched it with some beta customers, and we'll keep you up to date with the progress. I'm pretty sure we'll have webinars about it, quite a few of them in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just excited to see the direction it's going to go in, because so customers, our idea is that customers would use like the self-service portal and the marketplace as well. And, you can kind of decide again, what inventory do you want to have exposed on self-service as like premium inventory that your customers are going directly to you to purchase versus, do you want all of that inventory on the marketplace? Do you just want maybe, some inventory that, maybe is not a great seller for you? Put it on the marketplace and just see how it does. So it's just like interesting. There's a ton of different ways I think that it can go with the marketplace. And one other thing we didn't mention as well, the marketplace, the idea is it's a free platform that you're able to use. So, there's really no risk almost, right? So you're able to just, request the marketplace, you'll get it set up. And then from there, you're just able to expose your inventory, or you can even go on it to buy inventory as well. So yeah, super excited to see how it goes. There's still a lot of, a lot of the beta testing going on, but we did launch it, or we are launching it soon, I think, this upcoming month in October. So yeah, definitely, like Rob said, more to come on that for sure. We'll have webinars. We definitely want to have more customers in testing it, because the idea is overall, the more publishers that we can get on the marketplace, just the more attractive it becomes to, to buyers and sellers both.
And yes, talking about costs, the costs of self-service and marketplace, they're insignificant. So I'm not gonna say it's zero, but consider them closer to zero than to big numbers. It's really the costs and the technology are perfect in order to scale your business. You really don't have to worry about any of those two. We have done this now for many years. We have done enough errors in order to say that it is really mature. A lot of our customers are using it. It's robust, and the costs are negligible.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. So Q&A. I hope you have a lot of questions. And please start typing up the questions and there's a chat box somewhere on your screen, and we are happy to answer them. We want to answer them. We want to have a lot of questions. And in the meantime, I know that Samantha wanted to kind of highlight that we have the resources that we have where you can watch other videos or something like that. Right, Sam?
Yeah, we have here, right here. So our webinar content on demand. So here is what I was mentioning before. So here you're able to look at some of the standard flows for the self-service platform, as well as some of the other functionalities that ADvendio has to offer. So advendio.com/webinar videos. So if you want to go to that website and look at any of those on-demand webinars or demos, you can go ahead and do so. Or of course, you know, you can reach out to us with any questions that you have right now or after the demo as well. So I see a couple questions coming in. I know we're just at about time. I think we were planning on approximately 30 minutes for the demo, so we're just getting there now. So maybe we'll just ask one or two questions here, and then anything else that comes through, for sure, we'll make sure that we get everybody the answer to the questions that have been asked. So if I look here on the chat, this is actually a pretty good question, which I think is a good one to, you know, to let everybody know about. So, do my customers need to have Salesforce in order to use the portal or the marketplace? So the answer to that is no. So on you know, the back end, you as a publisher or you as an agency, if you are, you know, looking to use the self-service portal, you would need to have Salesforce, because that's where the inventory is, you know, pulling from, and that's where it's being exposed. But all of your advertisers or anyone going into the self-service portal would actually just get a login from you. So they don't need to, you know, already have the Salesforce platform or anything to be able to use the platform.
Good question, good answer. I have another question that came in. Me as a publisher find it very easy to prove the value for the advertisers using self-service, but instead find it very difficult to convince the sales reps. They are afraid of losing their jobs. They're once partly bringing the platform to the market. Any experiences you heard of that you could share? So yes, we have some experiences. So there's always a little bit of fear from sales that, oh my God, you know, I'm going to be displaced, and you know, I'm going to be a machine will displace me. And I think that's the wrong approach. And we have not seen a customer that has implemented a lot of self-service portals, and then as a result, salespeople, you know, lost their jobs. No, most of our customers either want to grow faster, just like at CrossPlan, or either they want to reach out to customers that they don't have currently, so low volume, sometimes booking customers, or they want to gain the trust and want to have more bookings from customers like Unilever, big brands where they have big marketing departments that might be working across the globe 24 hours, and they just want to have access to inventory, and they want to be able to book it themselves. They want to send the CPMs, the CPCs. They want to be able to configure targeting information. They want to have real-time inventory check. They all can do just like a salesperson, and as a result, they will book more. And the salesperson then becomes really the relationship manager of those big brands, making sure obviously that they all have access to the self-service portal, and the habits of still booking directly will not be reduced. And actually, as a salesperson myself, I rather nurture a relationship and go to the restaurant with the customer. Hopefully COVID will allow to do that still this year, and rather than you know going through a boring campaigns that I have to create and then talk to ad ops to make sure that it goes live and all these kind of things. So I rather have it automated. But the approach, if salespeople are afraid of it, the approach is always, this is to expand the business. And usually there is always an angle why you want self-service, and the angle is I want to expand the business. I want to make it more profitable, and I want to have more and more advertisers booking deals.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's more of just a shift in responsibilities as opposed to taking away business. So now, you know, you're shifting those super low revenue, you know, high demand kind of campaigns over to self-service, and then the sales reps are really able to focus on more of the high revenue, high commission deals.
Yeah. And maybe this answer sounds boring, but it's really how it's happening with our customers. And yes, more than half of our customers who use it, their salespeople had fears about this. But pretty soon, you know, after launching, they really see the benefits. So it's not just something that we say in order to accommodate them. It's really the truth. We have a really awesome question here, and I really like it because, you know, we have a couple of customers that actually don't have Salesforce, but they have us. Are you purely connected to Salesforce, or can you work with other CRM systems? So the answer is we have customers that have other CRM systems, and ADvendio uses Salesforce as an operating system because we need customer data somewhere in order to generate IOs, in order to make those bookings. And we also piggyback off from their reporting tools, so we can report the data that is coming from the 13 different ad servers that we are connected to. But what I would say is that, yes, we have customers who are using Windows and they are Dynamics, and we are integrated, and we interrupt their workflow where then they start the workflow in Windows, then it makes a step into ADvendio, and then when all the configuration and all the media specific stuff is done, then it steps back into Microsoft Dynamics. So we have done a ton of those. But yes, if you have Salesforce, yeah, implementation is a bit shorter. But what is very key is whatever system you use, we need an inventory structure. That inventory structure needs to be able to kind of go into the self-service portal. And therefore, the key thing is that you have a ADvendio main solution somewhere at your desk where the inventory is maintained, where the inventory is connected, if it's digital, to the ad servers, and then from there you just literally enable self-service portals. Now, if that ADvendio main inventory solution sits within a Windows or another CRM, it adds a little bit of implementation work for us, but generally speaking, it will not limit you in having ADvendio. Okay, we have quite a few questions. Samantha, you want to take the next one?
Sure. The next one that we have, so what would you recommend as a go-to-market approach? Would you start in one sector first? So I think from what we've seen and from prospects that we've spoken to, that's, I would say, like the general consensus, or at least of what our prospects are trying to do. So instead of, we've realized like doing everything in one big bang isn't always the right way to do it. So for sure, starting in one market, or maybe like one like advertiser or like deal size approximately, is what our current customers have done in order to get onto the self-service platform. So it might be either starting with large customers and just having them access the self-service portal to be able to view and pay their invoices, or it could be starting with the like small advertiser sector to be able to allow them to book their campaigns, a small group maybe of these small deals, and then from there expand it out. So for sure, it's always kind of like that start small approach. Start with a percentage of your advertisers, or a percentage within one specific sector. Work out all of the tweaks, make sure that everything is working the way that you're expecting to, and the way that works well as a customer experience for your advertisers, and then from there expand it out.
And sometimes you just have to profile the customer itself rather than the sector, which is much more difficult. We have customers in Scandinavia that they try to do it. That, well, these are young customers. They tend to always just book digital stuff with us, and therefore our assumption is that they have no problem in logging into a portal because they're non-stop in different types of portals, starting with Facebook, Twitter, etc. So that approach does exist as well, but typically there is a well-defined customer base. Are we tackling print? Are we tackling newsletters that you can just book newsletters, or are we tackling that certain website and only that inventory and only the customers of that website? But yes, you have to define a market or a sector within your customer base.
And we have one more question here, and then maybe I think any other questions, feel free to continue popping them in, but just in the interest of time, we'll get back to everybody after the webinar. The last question that we'll go over today. So, am I able to see my GAM availabilities through the self-service portal? So the answer to that one is yes. So it's actually a functionality that's in progress right now with our product team. So it should be available in the portal within the next, I think, 6 weeks or so. So you will be able to have your customers go in, select the inventory that they want, and then based on that availability in GAM or Xander or AdSwiz or whatever ad server that you're using, as long as it's connected with ADvendio, they will be able to book their availability based on, is that product available in GAM? So they'll select a product, and then there's that direct API connection where you're able to see immediately, like, is the availability available for that time frame that they've suggested. So it'll again like eliminate any issues of requesting products that actually aren't available during a certain time frame. So yep, that will definitely be available.
And again, that's just to emphasize that we are connected to 13 different ad servers, delivery systems. Those are both-way connections, so full mirroring of Smart Ad Server, Xander, Google, and AdSwiz, and AdWheel. I think that's the one for video. So we have loads of them, and we have in our pipeline every year to make 2 or 3 more. We have an API team, and the system is there since many years in order to do that for sales reps internally. And what we are doing in the last couple of weeks is to make sure that data flow, that interaction with the ad server is not just limited to the main users, to the internal users, but it also gets reflected into the self-service. So it's really not an integration work that we have to do with the ad server. It's really just the integration work with the digital extension product of Salesforce, basically. So yeah, it's there, and it's almost there, and yes, that's our number one approach. And as soon as it's there for most of the ad servers straight away. Cool. I think this was really awesome. We had some really good questions. And
yeah, some great questions. And as always, it's fun to present with you, Rob. So glad to take the time.
It's fun to present with you. And Patrick, Lace, thank you for the questions. And thanks for your engagement. And please just email us if you like what you heard. Feel free to email me. Feel free to email Samantha. The choice is yours. And we are happy to deep dive and show you what we talked about. And we know that the proof is in the pudding. And we have no problem in showing you. We will show you what we have, and we will not sell you what we don't have. So don't worry about it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for your time today. Have a great day, and
Thanks
hope to hear from you. Take care.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
ciao. Take care. Bye.